Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Aishwarya Reddy, working as a lecturer in RIT Polytechnic, Lohegaon, Pune. A very warm welcome to all distinguished speaker, faculty member, and participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Faculty Development Program on Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, organized to enrich our knowledge and enhance our understanding of the emerging trends in AI and ML technologies. Now, I proceed by highlighting today's agenda and providing a brief introduction to our distinguished guest speaker, Professor Rahul Nowlesa. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Rahul Nowlesa, an accomplished academician with over 9 years of teaching experience in the field of Python programming, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. He is currently working as an assistant professor at G.H. Raisoni College of Engineering and Management, Pune. Mr. Navle sir has been actively involved in academic and research activities, having published multiple research papers in international journals and conferences, and authored several technical books with Shroff Publishers and IDOL University of Mumbai. He has also contributed to curriculum design for Python programming under the Faculty Development Program of Savitribai Phule Pune University and played a key role in the FOSSEE project at IIT Bombay, promoting the use of open source tool in education. Mr. Navle sir has conducted and participated in numerous faculty development programs, workshops, and seminars, and has been an AICTE SLA project expert for emerging areas. His areas of expertise include machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. Now, it's time to begin our faculty development program. We are truly honored to have with our distinguished speaker, Professor Rahul Navle sir, who will be delivering the session on machine learning application. Sir, we request you kindly commence today's FDP session and share your valuable insights with us.
Okay, thank you, madam, for your introduction. Hope my voice is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will be sharing my screen. Hope my screen is visible to you, right, ma'am? My screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, your screen is visible.
Okay. Uh, okay. Thank you for me giving me opportunity. So my topic was given is machine learning applications. So if you just talk about the machine learning applications, there are the various fields, or we can say in various domains, machine learning applications are there. So if you just talk about the various domain, so it will be in a transportation and logistic is also there, healthcare domain is there, agriculture domain is also there. Then we can say marketing and retail domain is there, cyber security is also there. So we are looking for various applications. We are just looking for the various applications in machine learning. So today I will be focusing, I will be taking one case study. Based on that, we are just doing the predictive analytics. So in that machine learning applications, in the previously we can say today is the day 3. In the day 1, day 2, and various speakers are there, and they are just discussing about what exactly that machine learnings are there. In that machine learning, what exactly we are just studying. So they are just mentioned like in that machine learning majorly divided into the two parts. So first one is going to be we are just calling as a supervised machine learning, and second one we are just calling as a unsupervised machine learning. So what exactly we are just doing the machine learning, and there will be various applications, but in 2 3 minutes I will be explaining which kind of the machine learning, what exactly it will be does, and then we can just move for our hands-on session. So machine learning is nothing but we have to just machine can learn from the data. So various applications we already discussed, like in various domain, in healthcare, in cyber security, in agriculture, in retail and market analysis. There will be various applications are there, but we are not going in detail. So which are the applications that you can just search on Google also. But machine learning is majorly divided into the two parts. First one is a supervised machine learning, and second one is going to be a unsupervised machine learning. So in that supervised machine learning is nothing but using that using that supervised machine learning. Majorly we are just solving the two kinds of problems. So first one is the regression, and second one is going to be a classification. In the previous day also, you have been just in the first day you have been just studied about what is regression, what is classification. Regression is nothing but it is all about the continuous data, and classification is all about your we are just calling as a discrete data. So if I would just talk about the in supervised machine learning, majorly we are just solving the two kinds of problem. First one is the regression, and second one is the classification. So to solve this kind of the problems, we require the various machine learning algorithms. So some may be aware about the machine learning application, machine learning algorithms are there. So in under the supervised machine learning, there are the various we can say machine learning algorithms are there, starting from linear regression, then logistic regression, then k-nearest neighbor, then support vector machine, then decision trees are there, then random forest are there. After that, we are just getting some boosting algorithms are there, boosting and ada boost is there, XGBoost is there. So these are the various classical machine learning algorithms that will be comes under the supervised machine learning. But what exactly we are just doing using that supervised machine learning algorithm? We are just solving the regression kind of the problem and classification type of the problem. And in the other hands, we are just talking about machine learning. Second part is the unsupervised machine learning. And in that unsupervised machine learning, which kind of the problems we are just solving in that unsupervised machine learning? We are not solving the problem of classification in regression. We are not solving the problem of classification and regression. Then what we are just doing with that unsupervised machine learning, in using that unsupervised technique, we are just doing the promotion or advertisement of any product that will be available into the market. So to solve such kind of the problems, again we require the unsupervised machine learning algorithms. So firstly, majorly well-known algorithm is going to be over there. K means clustering is there. Using that clustering, we are just forming the groups, and after the forming the groups, we are just targeting the that group. That means whatever the our products are there, we have to just if any product comes will be in the market, before coming into that market, their target customer is going to be a fix. So such kind of the targets we are just doing. We are just such kind of the clusters we are just forming. Cluster is nothing but the groups. We are just forming the groups on the basis of some categories, like we are just forming the groups by using the age group, like 20 to 30 age group, 31 to 40 groups. So such kind of the groups on the basis of age, on the basis of gender, on the basis of various we can say region wise also we can just create the cluster, city wise, such kind of the cluster we can just form, and we are just targeting the cluster. That means ultimately using that unsupervised machine learning, we are just only doing the promotional activities or advertisement of any product that will be available into the market. That means ultimately we are just growing, or we are just increasing the sales of our business. So these are the main major, we can say, two types of the machine learning: supervised machine learning and unsupervised. Using supervised machine learning, we either you can just solve the problem of the regression or classification, and in unsupervised machine learning you can just do the promotional activities, or we can say advertisement of any product that will be available into the market. Yeah, am I clear? Voice सबको clear है ये?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So then we have to just majorly focusing like machine learning applications. So as I said, in that machine learning, so it is also we can say sub part of AI. So under the AI, as what we are right now, we can just look artificial intelligence. So what exactly AI? AI is nothing but the whatever the human intelligence are there, that kind of the intelligence we have to just bind into the machine. That is nothing but the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence we are just going calling as a very big umbrella. Inside this umbrella, various subfields, or we can say sub branches are there. So very first branch is there machine learning. After then we can say deep learning. After the deep learning, we are just calling as a computer vision. Then we are just calling as a natural language processing. Then we are just calling as a expert system. Then we are just calling as a robotic process automation. Then we are just calling as a IoT. These are the various subfields, or we can say sub branches of AI. These are the branches of AI, and we are just focusing on the machine learning. So in that machine learning, what exactly we are just doing? In that machine learning, we are just doing the prediction, classification, forecasting, and as I said, under the unsupervised machine learning, we are just doing the promotional activities also. So these are the that kind of the things we have to just do into the machine learning. What exactly we have to just do in the deep learning? In that deep learning, we are just majorly focusing on the three things. First one is the ANN, second one is the CNN, and third one is the RNN. So if you just look about the, we have to just study of deep learning. That means we have to study the three algorithms. That is ANN stands for the artificial neural network, CNN stands for the convolutional neural network, and RNN stands for the recurring neural network. ANN, it is nothing but the artificial neural network, and CNN stands for the convolutional neural network. So if my data set in the form of the images, then definitely we can just go with the convolutional neural network. So and what exactly we are just doing in the RNN, in that recurrent neural network, if my data will be comes in a time series analysis, my data will be changed as per the time, then we are just calling as a time series analysis or RNN that we will do in the deep learning. So various applications are there. So if you just focusing on the healthcare, there is also diagnostic types of the problems are there. In finance, these are the various domains. After that, we are just looking for the autonomous device. So everybody is aware about autonomous, or we can say logistic or transportation. So if everybody is aware, like whenever we are just purchasing car, so we are just looking the features of that car. So sometimes we are just looking like ADAS control is there, yeah, ADAS level 1 is there, 2 is there. What exactly it will be does? It will be a does the computer vision. So if you just looking like we are just traveling from Pune to Mumbai on that national highway, so there will be lanes are there, lane 1, 2, 3, as well as we are just getting the signboards on that highway. So speed limit is also there. So such kind, and we are just following the lane rules. So that kind of the features, that means whatever we are right now, we are just manually, we are just driving the cars. That means we are just observing that roads, we are just observing the lane, we are just observing the signals, we are just observing the signboards, and according to that we are just driving the car. That this is our human intelligence, and such kind of the intelligence we have to just bind into that machine, so machine can automatically drive. So that is we are just calling as a automatic driving car. So in such kind of the features we are just looking in ADAS level 2 3 also, we are just looking, it will be follows the lane rules. So such kind of the things is nothing but the autonomous device. After that, everybody is aware about the NLP technology, that is natural language processing. So whatever the commands right now we are just giving, NLP is nothing but natural language processing. Right now I'm just discussing with you, talking with you. It is our natural language, or we can say human language. So and everybody is aware like that machine can only understand the computer language in the form of the zeros and one. But we are just talking in the form of the words. We are just talking in the form of the sentence. So this is our natural language, and these natural language, it will be a, we are just calling as our natural language, and it will be a converting into the machine. So yeah, right now everybody is aware of, we are just using the smart TVs also. Like we, whatever we have to just search on your TV, so we are not typing anything. So at that time we are just taking the remote and we are just pressing the search button, and we are just giving the command. So very a good example for the NLP, that is nothing but the Alexa device. So that Alexa will be a, we are just giving the commands. Alexa, we can say increase the span. Alexa, switch on the TV. Alexa, switch off the fan. Such kind of the commands we are just giving. So it is going to be one of the device. Inside that device, that is natural language processing, NLP technology is there. So that will be a converted, like your natural language will be a converted into the machine level. That device is the NLP. So various applications are there. But today I will be taking one. I will be taking one. We can say case study, and our case study is that we have to predict like whether the new employee of the organization will be come to the office by their own car or public transport. So my problem statement is that जो नया एम्प्लॉय का रिक्रूटमेंट हुआ है एंड इट विल बी कम टू द ऑफिस फ्रॉम टुमारो, और वी कैन से इट विल बी कम फ्रॉम द 1st of December. So he or she will be coming to the office by public transport or his own car. That we have to predict. We are not asking the question to that employee. Recruitment process has been done and we have to predict. We have to just make a system and he will be giving the answer like that the new employee will be come to the office by public transport or his own car. So you are just calling such what is this question or such kind of the problem. So such kind of the questions are there. We can say in that machine learning we are just solving the real world problem. Whatever the problem we are just facing in our day-to-day life, such kind of the problems we have to just solve. So employee will be come to the office by their own car or public transport. That we have to predict. That means there will be a various factors affecting that employee will be come to the office by public transport or car. So there are various, we can say, independent features are there. So our output variable is what? Our output variable is that हमें प्रिडिक्ट करना है कि वो एम्प्लॉय ऑफिस के लिए कार से आएगा या पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट से आएगा. दैट मींस इट इज द बाइनरी क्लासिफिकेशन. आइदर वी आर जस्ट कॉलिंग एज अ yes or no. या our answer is going to be a either it may be a car or public transport. There, that means our output variable is discrete. In our output variable there are only two classes, or we can say two categories are there. First one is the public transport and second one is the car. So the employee will be come to the office by car or public transport. That will be a depends on various factors. So we can say distance from home to office, or we can say there is the first factor. Then we are just calling as a public transport availability from source to destination, or we can say home to office. Then we are just calling as there are various factors are there. Age is also there, salary is also there, designation is also there. So these are the various factors will be affecting, and depending on that we have to just predict that employee will be come to the office by public transport or car. And we are not asking that question to that new employee. That means to solve such kind of the problem statement, required the we required the we required the historical data, or we required the data those employee who are currently working in that organization. So if you just see current employee, there is 200 employee will be working on that employee, 200 employee will be working in the organization, and we have to just require the past employee data, how they will be coming. So solving such kind of the problem, what exactly, if the new employee will be come to the office by car, yeah, public transport, that means if the he or she will be coming to the office by public transport, yeah, he will be come to the office by car, then we have to just make the parking allotment for that specific employee also. If he or she will be not coming, then so such kind of the problems are there, but that we need to solve. To solve any kind of the problem statement, we require the data, or we require the data set. And generally we are just using one platform to search the data set. Data set means we have to just look it will be a to solve any kind of the problem statement. So if you just working in a team, there will be a problem statement is also given, as well as you have been just given the data set also. But right now for learning purpose, we require the data set, and it is one of the source to download the any kind of the data set. We have to just use the Kaggle platform. So everyone is aware about this Kaggle platform. So basically we are just using that Kaggle platform to search or to download any kind of the data set. So I required one data set for the search. If you just look at the left side, there will be a one tab that is data set, and you can just search the data set. So I'm just looking one data set, that is name of that data set is going to be a social network ads. So relating to that word, you are just getting the 141 data sets. So what exactly this dataset tab is there? Whatever the word comes in your mind, that you can just write over there, and you can just press the search button. So you will get, if you just coming with the population, you can just write the population. If you just regarding you require the data, yes, it is the world population. So if you just look to around 2344 data set is related to the population. You are just getting the word COVID-19. So you can just any, as I said, any whatever the words comes in your mind, that you can just type into that search tab, and related to that you are just getting the data set. So right now I'm just looking like, so one of the data set is going to be over there, that is nothing but the social network ads. So if I want to just write social network advertisement, so if you just click on that, so you are just getting the 141 data set. So from that we are just looking one of the data set, that is social network ads. So before we are just using this data set to solve our problem statement. But before, yes, I have to just explain the data set, what exactly it is social network ads. So it is going to be a name of the data set. You can just scroll on, and you are just getting the 3 columns. So here is going to be a data set social network ads, and extension of that data set is going to be CSV, and CSV stands for the comma separated value, everyone know. So if you just look the columns, so in this data set there will be 3 columns are there. So initially you will get the, these are the age is the first column, estimated salary is the second column, and purchase is going to be a third column. So I have to explain this data set. For that purpose I can just download the same data set. So you can just click on the download button, so that data set has been downloaded in our local machine. So if you just go with that data set, so let me zoom it, so it will be visible for you again, everybody. So this is going to be our data set. So in this data, name of the data set is social network ads. That means how they have been just created this data. So if you just look, this is the first column, estimated salary, it is going to be a second column, and purchase is going to be a third column. So I have to just explain this data set. Social network ads means whenever you are just using your social media accounts, in the form of everybody is using the Facebook, everybody is using the LinkedIn, everybody is using the yes, so such kind of the Instagram. So these are the social media apps are there, and that we are just using. Suppose I have to just purchase one device, that is nothing but the, I have to just purchase today mouse. I have to just require one mouse, and that I have to just purchase. So what exactly we are just doing? If I want to just purchase the mouse, initially we are just going into the Google search, and in that Google search we are just searching the mouse. Then we have to just search company wise. Then it will be we are just checking the price. We are just same product, same model number, same product. We are just searching on various e-commerce app. We are just going with the Amazon. We are just going with the Flipkart or any other, we can say, e-commerce apps are there, and we are just comparing the price. After the comparison, I have been just today taken the decision. I will not purchase today mouse. I will purchase day after tomorrow. After some time, I will come money, and after the I have coming, I have money. Then only I can just purchase that product. So I have been just close that all these Google search and whatever the social whatever the e-commerce apps are there. I have been just close. But whenever after 2 3 we can say hours, or after next day, I have been just using the Facebook, and I'm just reading whatever the stories and news are there, that I am just reading. So at that time we are just getting the pop-ups, like we have, you are just interested into that product. So that means whatever we have been just done the Google search, whatever we have been just search into the e-commerce application Amazon Flipkart में हमने जो सर्च किया था, वो प्रोडक्ट के एडवर्टाइजमेंट आपको पॉपअप्स आते हैं. दैट मीन्स वो पॉपअप आने के बाद इट विल बी लाइक टारगेटिंग यू टू परचेज दैट प्रोडक्ट. सो वी आर जस्ट गेटिंग लाइक, we are just remembering like I have to just purchase that mouse. Then some people catch that pop-up and directly jump into that your e-commerce app and purchasing that product. Some are ignoring that, some are the purchasing at that. So in that way they have been just created the data. So you can just look, so whatever the social media ads, this is first person whose age is going to be a 19 and estimated salary is going to be a 19,000, and purchase is nothing but the zero means it is that product has been not purchased, and one means we are just getting the that product has been purchased. So you are just calling as estimated salary means what exactly it is. Suppose you can just go so many times we are just visiting into the various restaurant. So at that time initially also we are just visiting also in the malls also. So if you just everybody is aware about that katakir misal. So whenever we are just entering into that katakir misal, so there will be one tab is there, and they are just taking our basic information. So you can just enter when you for the table booking, they are just taking the user input. That means they are just trying to catch your information. They are just taking the information, enter your mobile number, how many peoples you are just sitting with the family. So such kind of the questions they will be asked, and they are just capturing your data. In the malls also initially they are just keeping the tab, but initially right now they are just not keeping the tab, but at the time of the billing they are just taking your mobile number, and such kind of the your name is also they have been just collecting. So they are just collecting your data, and once they have been just collected your data, unsupervised machine learning will be at the back end. So whatever the products coming into the market, so many times we are just getting the advertisement. So in that way they have been just created the data set. But right now we have to just predict that employee will be come to the office by public transport or his own car. That we have to just do. For that purpose we have to just use that social network ads. To solve this problem statement, I can just open the Jupyter notebook, and into that Jupyter notebook we have to just solve our problem statement. So how to solve this problem statement? So for that purpose we are just required the Jupyter notebook. So here in that at the right top we are just getting the two buttons. First one is the upload and new. So we can just click on the new button, and right now I have to just create one folder. So you can just click on the folder. After the clicking on the new folder, there will be one folder has been created, but it is going to be untitled folder. You can just look over here, it is folder is going to be untitled, and it will be created seconds ago. So you can just select this untitled folder and go at the right left top left, and there will be again a rename button is there. You can just click on that rename button, and whatever the folder name you have to just give, same name you can just give to that folder. So I can just give the name that is RIT, we can say FDP. So I can give the name for that folder. So you can just rename this folder, and after that you can just look over there. you will get the folder is going to be renamed, that is RIT FDP, and you can just click this notebook has been empty. So whenever we are just creating such kind of the folder, so this folder is created in our local machine. So where it will be created? It will be created at by default location of your Jupyter notebook. So what is by default location? The by default location is going to be a under the C directory. We are just getting the users. Under the users, we are just getting the username. In case your username might be different, in my case, in system there will be these are the three users. So username is going to be HP. Inside that, right now we have been just created one folder, and name of that folder is going to be, we are just calling as a RIT FDP. So this is going to be a folder will be created in your local machine. So you can just look the file under the this PC. We are just getting the C directory. Inside the C directory users, under the user it is going to be username, and username के अंदर आपने जो folder create किया है, that is RIT FDP. So whatever the data set that we have been just created, so these are the three columns. So you can just look over there. Whenever we are just implementing any problem statement, first step is that we have to convert our data set into the data pandas data frame object. Yeah, we can say another word external, read the external source file. जो data set है आपके पास, we have to just convert the data set into the pandas data frame object. That is very first step for to implement the any problem statement. Second general step is over there. That means we have to just identify x and y. So identify x and y is nothing. X is all about the independent features. Features is nothing but the columns, and y is nothing but the output variable, or we can say target variable, or we can say it is going to be a labeled output. So you can just look that here there is going to be these first two features are their age and estimated salary. On the basis of that age and estimated salary, that product has been purchased or not purchased, that decision has been taken. That's why we are just calling these are the first two columns are the x, or we are just calling x is nothing but the independent features. It is also we are just calling x is nothing but the input variable, and this is going to be a y is nothing but we are just calling as a output variable, or we are just calling as a target variable, or we are just calling as a labeled output. So this is the data set that we are just going to use. But same data set we have to use that employee will be come to the office by public transport or his own car. So there is going to be only two categories, or we can say only two classes are there. For 0 we are just calling as a public transport class, and for 1 we are just calling as a car class. That means see same data set that we have to just use over there. So the data set will be available in downloads. So I can just here I can just that copy the data set from downloads, and the same data set we can just paste in our folder. Our folder is that under the C directory, users are there, and inside the user we are just getting the username. Inside that username we are just getting our folder, and folder name is going to be our, we are just calling as a RIT FDP. Same data set we can just paste in our folder where we have been just created. So this is going to be our data set. This is going to be our data set, and right now you can just look in our Jupyter notebook that data set is going to be available inside this folder. Right now I have to just create a new Python file. So Python is a programming language name, and 3 is the version of that language. So you can just create another Jupyter notebook file, and you have to just implement our problem statement that employee will be come to the office by public transport or his own car. To do this initial level, we require the two libraries. Very first step is that whatever the libraries will be required, that we have to just import. As I said, very first step is that convert the data set into the pandas a data frame object. So for that purpose, we require the pandas library, so that we need to import. So if I want to just write the import, so only I can just type the IM, and you can just press the tab from your keyboard. So it will be suggesting that import is going to be a keyword. It is a keyword. That means it has a It is predefined word in your Python programming. So if you just talk about, everybody is aware about the keyword, it is predefined words. I think in Python 3 there will be around 31 keywords are there. Continuously it will be a upgrading. So we need to import the pandas library. Import is a keyword. Pandas is going to be a library name, as is also keyword, and PD we are just giving the short name or nickname to that pandas library that we require. After that we are just requiring another library. So name of that library is going to be a matplotlib. So only I can just write the mat and you can just press the tab. So it will be suggesting in your Python 3 there is going to be a matplotlib library is there. So this is going to be, you can just catch inside that matplotlib library we are just getting one module, and name of that module is going to be a plot. So pylab is also there and pyplot is there. So why we require that pyplot? So whatever the data we need to visualize, so for the visualization purpose, for the plotting purpose, we are just using the matplotlib library. So you can just write import matplotlib is the library name, pyplot is the one of the module present into that matplotlib library, and as is keyword, and you can just give the short name to that matplotlib library is nothing but the plt. So we have been just every time we are just going to write the matplotlib.pyplot, going to be very lengthy. So instead of that, you can just give the short name. So short name is going to be a PLT. We have been just given over there. So execute the same. Execution has been done. That means these two library has been executed. So you can just click on the run button, or shortcut is there, shift enter. So you can just do the shift enter from your keyboard to run the sale. So this is going to be a sale number 1 has been executed. That's why there is going to be a 1 is number is over there. So very first step is that the data set that we need to convert into the pandas data frame object. So for the pandas library, we have been just given the short name is going to be a PD. So you can just write the PD, that is nothing but the pandas, and you can just press the tab. So whenever you are just pressing the tab, so it will be suggesting we have to just read our external data set. We have to just read the data set. That means we have to just convert into the data frame object. So for that purpose, in that pandas library, there will be various functions are there. Read clipboard is there, read CSV is there, read Excel is there, feather is there, HDF is there, HTML, JSON, Oracle table, Fickle. So various, we can see these are the inbuilt functions available into that pandas library, starting with the read word. So our dataset extension is going to be a CSV. That's why we are just using the read CSV function. So this is going to be a function. So this is function means we have to just pass the file name. Otherwise, you can just give the file path where your data set is going to be present. Our data set is going to be present in our parent directory, and in our parent directory, you can just look social network ads. This is going to be our data set, and that we have to just execute. So you can just give the name, like you can just look only. I can just press the S, and you can just type the S and press the tab from keyword, and it will be a suggesting like in your parent directory there is going to be one data set is available, and name of that data set is the social network ads, and you have to just catch this data set and execute the cell. So if you just execute the data set, execute the cell, you are just getting the same data set that I have been just shown you in your Excel file. So this is the first 5 records from your data set, and this is going to be last 5 records from your data set. But we are just converting this data set into the pandas data frame object. That's why we are just catching all these result into the another object, that is we are just calling as a DF, and DF stands for the data frame. For the analysis of that data, we are just using the data frame object. So if I want to just write df.head, so you will get the first 5 records from your data frame object. So why we are just doing that df.head? So you will get that data set has been properly loaded into that data frame object or not. For that checking, we are just using the df.head function. So this is only first 5 records will be showing. If I want to just look the first 10 records from your data frame, so you can just write the df.10. So you will get the from index number 0 to 9, that means it is going to be a first 10 records from your data frame. So if I want to just look the last 10 records, so df.tail function is also there, So we have to just check that same data set has been properly loaded into the data frame object, or data set has been properly loaded into the data frame. Data set has been properly loaded into the data frame or not, that we have to just check. That is our very first step that we have been just done. So that is we are just calling conversion of your data set into the pandas data frame object. Second step is there, that means we have to just identify x and y. So as I said, second step is that we have to just identify x and y from your data frame. In our data frame there will be a three features, there will be a three columns are there. From that three column we have to just identify x and y. X is nothing but the input variable, x is nothing but the independent features, and y is nothing but the output variable, target variable. So whatever that product has been purchased or not purchased has been depends on first two variables, that is age and estimated salary. So for that purpose we are just calling as purchase decision has been depends on age and estimated salary. That's why purchase is going to be our output variable and age and estimated salary is going to be our input variable. So second step is nothing but the identify x and y from your data frame. So same thing that we have to just do. X is nothing but the input variable. So what is x? X is data frame first column, that is nothing but the age. So you can just write df of age. Also you can, and second, that is nothing but the estimated salary. So these are the first two column we are just selecting as a input to our system, or we are just calling these are the two independent variables. But if you just keep in your mind, x is always in two dimension. Two dimension means we are just expecting input as more than one column. So if you just look, it is going to be a Python list object is there, but we need to convert. So in mathematics we are just calling it is nothing but the, we are one column, we are just nothing but it is nothing but the vector, and in the Python we are just calling it is going to be list object. But vector is going to be always one dimension, but we are just calling our input variable is going to be a two dimensional. That means we are just expecting more than column. So we are just converting that vector into, we are just calling as a matrix form. So matrix form is nothing but the, it is going to be a two dimension. So input variable we are just expecting more than one column. That's why we are just converting it is into the two dimension. That is going to be your x input variable. Y is nothing but your output variable. Output variable is nothing but it is always 1D. So it is going to be a last column of your data frame, that is nothing but the purchase, and that we are just keeping as only one dimension, because our output variable is that we are just, for 0 we are just calling as a public transport class, and for 1 we are just calling as a car class. So execute the same. You can just click on the run button, otherwise you can just use the shortcut, that is shift enter from your keyboard. So second step that we have been just done, that is nothing but the identify input variable and identify output variable from your data frame. So after that I want to just check how many records, how many data points will be available in your data frame, that we have to just check. That means how many number of rows and columns available in your data frame. So for that purpose we do we are just applying one property. Name of that property is going to be shape. So we are just applying one property on our data frame. So it will be tells us how many rows and how many columns will be present in your data frame. So it will be showing in our data frame, first value it is always for the rows and second value it is always for the column, and it is Python ka, it is the object of your tuple object है Python ka. So in our data frame there is going to be 400 rows, and how many columns we are just doing, 3 columns are there, and these are the 3 columns we are just identified. Out of that 3, 2 is going to be independent features and 1 is the dependent features. That means 2 input variable है, एक आपका output variable है. So that we have been just seen over there. So after the identifying x and y, we need to do the splitting of that data. To do the splitting of that data, how we have to just do the splitting of that data, we need to explain. So out of that 400 data, we have to just look do this, how many records will be a goes for the training of that model, and how many records will be a goes for the testing of that model that we need to do over there. That is nothing but the whatever the original data points we do have, that is 400 data points, and we have to just do the splitting of that 400 into the training and testing. So what is the training and testing? So if I want to just do the for the train splitting the data, we are just using the train test split. It is one of the function present in your sklearn library. So using that train test split, how it will be split the data, that I can just explain you. But if I want to just import that function from sklearn library, name of that function is the train test split. So from, we have to just, from is the keyword, sklearn is going to be a name of the library. In that library we do have a one module. The name of that module is nothing but the model selection. So you can just write only mo and press the tab. It will be suggesting, like in your sklearn library there is going to be one module present. Name of that module is the model selection, and we have to just import is also keyword, and we have to just import one function. Name of that function is going to be a train test split. So I'm not typing anything, only you can just press the tr, type tr and press the tab. So it will be suggesting in your sklearn library. Inside that library model selection is there, model selection is there, and from that module we are just importing one of the function. Name of that function is going to be a train test split. So this function will be a split the our original data 400 data points into the training and testing part. So you can just execute the same. That means we have been just imported one function to do the split the data. So name of that function, train test split. So right now you can just see that function is going to be available. So this is which data we have to just split, whatever the we have been just identified in our second step, that is x and y. So we have to just split the data x comma y. So after that we have to just pass one parameter, that is nothing but the test underscore. We are just going to write the size. Test size means what? How many records we want to just want out of that 400, how many data points we want in test for the testing purpose, and how many records we have to just required for the training purpose, that we have to just pass over there. So here I can just write test size is going to be 0.25. So what is the meaning of that test size 0.25? That means out of that 100% data, out of that 400 data points, 25% data will be a goes for the way testing of that model, and remaining 75% data we are just keeping for the training of that model. So you are just asking question like why we are just keeping the test size is going to be a 0.25. So there is going to be no any standard formula. To some people are doing 80-20%, some people are doing 70-30%, some people are doing the 25% 75%, some are doing the 90% 10%. So that is totally depends on how much, that is totally depends on the size of your data frame. So testing में कितने data होना चाहिए? It is the testable data that will be available in your testing. So out of that 400 data points, 25%, that means 100 data points we are just keeping for the testing. Remaining 300 data points we will be keeping for the 300 data points we are just keeping for the training of that model. So if I want to just, but this train test split function will be returns the 4 object. So you can just take the help of any function. How we are just taking the help of any function? So you can just look, my cursor will be blinking inside that train test split function. So you can just press the shift. You can just press the shift tab from your keyboard. Once you can just press the shift tab, it will be use the doc string. That is nothing but the documentation of the string. The documentation of the string is nothing but the doc string is nothing but the information about that function. So why that function has been we are just calling has been designed. So what is use of that function? That is nothing but the doc string. So you will get the train test split function. Doc string split the array or matrices into the random train and test subset. So you will get the various, you can just go and you can just read all these information. They have been just given the example that train test split function will be a gives us the it will be returns the four objects: x train, x test, y train, and y test. These are the four objects written by your train test split function. So copy the same and you can just paste in the beginning, that is x train, x test, y train, and y test. This is nothing but the doing the splitting of your data. So after the splitting, it will be does the training part as well as the testing part. So that is our step 3. Execute the same, and same whatever I have been just explained, it will be available in your slide. So whatever the 400 in our full data set, there is going to be 400 data points. Out of that 400 data points, we do have three columns: age, estimated salary, and purchased. Age and estimated salary, these are the two our input variable. Purchase is going to be our target variable, and after that we are just doing the splitting of that data. That means after using that train test split function, it will be gives the four object: x train, x test, y train, and y test. Using the x train and y train, that means in that x train and y train we are just getting the 300 data points. X test and y test we are just getting the 100 data points, and using that training data point we can just train the model. Using that testing points we can just test the model. So same thing we have been just done over there. So you can just go over there. If I want to just check the shape of the x train, if I want to just check the shape of the x train, that means how many data points available in your x train. So you can just look into this slide. X train, there is going to be a, for the training purpose, we have been just done the 75% data we have been just keeping for the trading. That means 300 data points will be available out of that 400 data points. And how many columns we do have? Only two columns in your x. So we are just expecting shape of your x train is nothing but the three, we are just calling as a 300 comma 2. That means 300 data points, 300 rows, and how many columns? Two columns are there. What is, if I want to just check the shape of the x test in our, you can just look, it is test. That means how many records will be available in the testing we are just keeping for the 100 data points. And in our x input variables we do have a 2, that means 100 comma 2 we are just expecting the shape of your x test. Similar way you can just check y train. Training we are just getting a 300 data points. Y means your output variable, 300 comma 1 it is the shape of your y train. And in testing 100 data points, and y is one of the output variable, 100 comma 1 is the shape of your y test. So in this way you can just check that splitting has been properly done or not, that you have to just check over there. After the done, after we have been just done that splitting, done the splitting of data into the training and testing, then we have to just check as a pre-processing part, out of that 400 data points, is there any missing values are available or not, that we have to just check. Everybody is clear? And whatever I am just discussing, is it clear for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you just go over there, and why, what we need to do over there, after the checking we have to just check is there any missing value will be present in your data frame or not, that we have to just check. So where we have to just check, in our data frame there will be a 400 data points. Is there any missing value? For that purpose we do have one function, that is na. This is going to be one of the function, so you can just take the help of the function by using the shift tab, so you will get the information about that function. So doc string, it will be shows detect the missing value, so it will be a check is there any missing value will be present in your data frame or not. So for that purpose we are just applying is na function on your data frame. You can just execute the same, but it will be showing like true and false. Is there any missing value? Then only it will be shows the true. If there is any not missing value, it will be false. But we want the result in the form of the 0 and 1. So we are just applying one aggregation function on your isNA function. So it will be shows like how many missing values in your column. So if you just three columns are there in our data frame, age, there is no any missing value in the age. Estimated salary, there is also no any missing value. Purchase, there is also no zero missing value. That means if there is any missing value, then only we have to just apply the statistical measures, like fill the missing value by using the mean of that column, median of that column, mode of that column. After that, we have to just do the forward fill. After that, we have to just do the backward fill. So these are the techniques are there. I think the same techniques has been discussed in the previous session. Forward fill, backward fill, mean, median, mode. After that, sometimes we are just filling with some mathematical constants, statistical constants. Sometimes we are just delete that records from your data frame. So these are the such kind of the measures that we are just applying. After that, is there is no any missing value, that means we don't have to handle. If there is any missing value, so inside that again we have to just one of the function, that is fill na. Using that fill na function, you can just fill the data. But right now we have to just check this data is going to be a linear or non-linear, that we have to just check over there. So our problem statement is that we have to predict that employee will be come to the office by public transport or his own car, that we have to just predict. So for that purpose, we in initial level we are just checking, like there is going to be our data is going to be a linear or a non-linear. So we have been just imported one library. Name of that library is going to be a matplotlib, and for that library we have been just given the short name, that is nothing but the PLT. PLT stands for the matplotlib. So we are just drawing here one plot, that is nothing but the scatter. Scatter is the one of the function present in your matplotlib library. So it will be gives us the scatter plot. We have to just do the visualization of that data, so that you will get the clear understanding that data is going to be a linear or non-linear. So we are just only visualization with the x. X means input variable. We do have two input variable, age and estimated salary. So first column, that is age, that I want on the x-axis. Data frame ka first column, that is going to be age, that I want on the x-axis. So you can just write data frame ka first column age, that I want on the x-axis. Data frame ka second column, that is nothing but the estimated salary, that I want on the y-axis, and execute the same. So you will get the scatter plot. So this is going to be a scatter plot. In that scatter plot, on the x-axis we do have age, and on the y-axis we do have estimated salary. So we are just getting the scatter plot. That means we are just getting the grid of the points. So it is a scatter plot. So how many these data points we do have? Can anybody tell me? These are the blue points will be showing over there in our scatter plot. How many data points are there? So these are the 400 data points, because in our data frame there is going to be 400 rows, and each rows is going to be a represent for our one data point is belongs to the one employee. So you can just look, these are the 400 data points are there, but out of that 400 data point, some employee will be come to the office by public transport, and some employee will be come by their own car, but it is not going to be identified. From that 400 data point, right now what exactly we have to just do, select the only data points that select those employee will be coming to the office by the car, and select those employee which will be coming to the office by the public transport, that we have to just do. That means this is going to be 400 employee. This is the existing employee working in that organization. Out of that 400, some will be come by the public transport and some will be come by their own car. But we have to just this is going to be original data frame DF. So we have to just create the two data frames separately, DF of class 1 and DF of class 0. So DF of class 0 we are just calling as a public transport class, and DF of class 1 we are just calling as a car class. Select those employee, they will be coming to the office by the public transport. How we are just doing this? From that DF data frame ka last column we are just calling as a purchase. There is going to be a only two categories, zeros and one. From the data frame ka last column date of purchase, you can just look, there is going to be only some 0 and 1, only these are the two category we are just getting. So only we have to just select the employee date of purchase. Here, select those the employee from your last column of data frame. Those will be coming to the office by the class 0, and class 0 we are just calling as a public transport class, and execute the same. So these are the some true means those who are coming to the office by the public transport. False means those who are just coming to the office by the car class. So you can just, this is the result we are just getting in the form of the boolean. So again you can just pass this result to your original data frame, so it will be a gives us that is either in the form of the 0. So you can just look, all these employee will be a coming to the office by the public transport class. Out of that 400, 257 employee will be coming to the office by the public transport, and that means ultimately remaining all these employee around, we can say 143 employee will be come to the office by the their own car. These we are just creating is, and we are just giving the name, it is we are just calling as a DF of class 0. These are the existing employee working in the organization coming to the office by their public transport class. So you can just execute the same. Right now we are just getting the DF, as well as we are just calling as a DF0. That means this is the another data frame we do have. Those employee will be coming to the office by the public transport class, that is 253. Similarly, we have to just create a second data frame, that is we are just calling as a car class, or we are just calling as a DF of class 1. That means those employee will be come to the office by their own car. So you can just execute the same. After the execution, you can just print the DF of class. As right now we have original DF, DF of class 0 and DF of class 1. Execute the same. That means you can just observe the last column of your data frame, that is 0, 0. That means all these employee will be come to the office by their own car. So out of that existing working employee 143, out of that 400, these are the 400 employees. So which kind of the insights right now we are just getting? Out of this 400 employee, 257 employee will be come to the office by the public transport, and 143 employee will be the come to the office by their we are just calling as their own car. So again we are just doing the plotting for the public transport. Yeah, class 0 we are just giving the red color, and we are just getting the, for the class 1 we are just giving the blue color, and we are just doing the visualization so that we'll get the clear idea. So is that data is going to be a linear or non-linear. So again, yeah, we have to just do the scatter plotting. plt dot scatter is the function, and on df of class we are just selecting, instead of df we are just selecting a df of class 0. First column, that is age, that I want on the x-axis, as well as second column, that is df of class, we are just calling df of class 0 ka estimated salary that I want on the y-axis. So how many employees are there? These are the 143 employees are there, and you are just giving the color. For the giving the color, we do have one property, that is C, that is stands for the color. So 143 employees are there. They are just coming 143 employee come to the office by the car, and remaining 257 will be come to the office by the we are just calling as a public transport. So we are, those employee will be coming to the office by the public transport class. We are just giving the color is going to be a red. So you can just give the color is going to be a red. After that, similar point of view, so you can just first execute it and look what exactly it is. So out of that 400, these are the 143 employee come to the office by these are the 257 employee come to the office by the public transport, and remaining df of class means class 1 means they are just coming to the office by the car. So you can just make a necessary changes. df of class 0 ki jagah pe we have to just make it as a 1, df of class 1 ka age, df of class 1 ka estimated salary, and instead of color red you can just give the blue color to that employee will be coming to the office by their own car. Execute the same, and right now we are just getting, or we are just clear understanding. So out of that existing 400 employee. Red data points means these employee will be come to the office by the public transport class, and blue means those employee will be the coming to the office by the their car class. So if you just observe it and you can just identify it is going to be a linear data or non-linear data. So we have to just do the classification over here. In that classification problem, there is going to be a two. We are just calling as a result. We are just getting one is the employee will be the come to the office by the public transport or car class. So here we are just getting the mix. Some people are, it is linear or non-linear. How we are just going to identify? In linear means it will be a separated data on the basis of the line. Non-linear means it is not separated by the line. So if you just look, it is going to be, you are just looking non-linear data, but it is not a non-linear data. It is a linear data, but in this data we are just getting some noise, or we are just getting some outliers, and that we have to just handle. So only we do have two category. So we are just using one of the algorithm from the machine learning. It is binary classification. So we are just using the logistic regression. So from sklearn, we have to just, sklearn is the library. Inside that library, we have a one module. Name of that module is going to be a linear model, and we have to just import one class, and name of that class is going to be, we are just calling as a logistic regression. So logistic regression is the one of the machine learning algorithm specially designed to solve the classification type of the problem. So you can just execute the same. So what I said, prom is a keyword, sklearn is a library name, linear model is the module name, import is also keyword, and logistic regression is the one of the class. So you can just look, L is the capital, R is also capital, that means it is a class name. And whenever we are just importing any class, we have to just create an object for that class. We are just building a model over here, that's why we can just give the model object name. We are just building the model, that's why we are just giving the name of the object is the model. Object name equal to class name. What is name of the class? Class name is the logistic regression. So we have the object has been created for your logistic regression. Class के लिए हमने यहाँ पे object किया. Object creation has been done for that class. We can just learn in our programming language. In machine learning, we can say, right now we have been just created in machine learning words, we can say empty machine learning model has been created. That means we have to just pass the data to that model for the, we can say training purpose, or we can say learning purpose. So we have to just pass inside how that logistic regression will be a works. So yesterday, day one, you have been just seen the linear regression. Linear regression mathematics, you can just look for the linear regression. It is y is equal to mx plus c. That means we are just we are just finding a line, and that line will be finds the maximum data points will be on the line. That is linear regression. But linear regression is the solve to linear regression is the algorithm specially designed to solve the regression kind of the problem. Similar way, for the classification problem, we have a logistic regression. And if you just look the mathematics of that logistic regression, so it is depends on the sigmoid function. Sigmoid function is nothing but the sigmoid of x is equal to 1 upon 1 plus e to the power minus x. So what exactly that sigmoid function will be a does? It will be a does the, or it will be divides the data point into the two separate categories, or we can say classes. But right now, whatever the we have been just identified the data in a second step, that is going to be x and y. How many data points we do have? These are the 400 data points. Out of that 400 data points, for the training purpose, there is going to be 300 data points. For the testing purpose, 100 data points are there. So these data we have to just pass to the model for the training purpose. So we have to just do the training of that model. So by using model.fit. So inside that fit, behind this fit function, there is going to be our sigmoid function. And whatever the data we are just passing, so it will be divided into the two categories. Either it may be a public transport, either it may be a car class. That means it will be a divide the data point into the two category 0 and 1. 0 को हमने बोला है public transport and 1 के लिए हमने बताया है car. So which data we have to just pass? X comma y. So that we have been just identified to the step second, X and Y. So you can just do the training of that model using that create function. You can just do the training of that model, so you will just getting the output is nothing but the logistic regression. So in that logistic regression, model has been ready now. So whatever the data points are there, that we have been just pass. So model ka training हुआ है, but which data we have to just pass the data to the model, like whatever the data we have been just passed, that is scaling data. So we have been just not scaling has been not done. Before the scaling, we have to just ask model has been ready. That means you can just ask the any question. So I am just creating or asking the those employee which will be coming to the office. New employee hai Q1, or we can say question 1. You can just say query point 1, and we are just asking the question like one employee who coming to the office whose age is going to be 52 years of age, and whose salary is going to be, we are just calling as a 1,20,000. And this question we have to just ask to the model, and that model will be give is the answer. This employee will be come to the office by public transport or his own car. So in your existing data, you can just look age is going to be 52. That means below above this area. Here we are just getting the age is going to be 52, and you can just look salary is going to be 1,20,000. That means it is going to be over here. So after the year 40, you can just look measure the employee will be come to the office by the car, and you can just look below the age group 40, those employee will be the come to the office by the public transport. So we can just get one, there is going to be one relation with age and salary. Those employee, you can just look, initially we can just ask the question to that model. We have been just created one query point, then we can just explain like model, we have to just ask the question to the model. So predict is the going to be a function. So using that predict function, we can just ask to the model. So which question we are just asking? Query point Q1. You can just give the answer. कोई एम्प्लॉय का एज 52 है, सैलरी 1,20,000 है, वो ऑफिस के लिए कार से आएगा या पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट से आएगा, वो हमें बताइए. तो एज इज गोइंग टू बी 52 years, सैलरी इज गोइंग टू बी 1,20,000. क्लियरली इट विल बी शोज the employee will be come to the office by the car class. So execute the same. car के लिए हमने बताया 1, but it will be showing like 0. That means it will be giving the wrong prediction. So why it will be giving the wrong prediction? That means we have been just not done the pre-processing. Again, you can just ask the create another question. So it will be a might be it will be give a correct question. So we are just asking the second question, query point Q2. Another employee whose age is going to be a 60, and we are just calling as whose salary is going to be 1,50,000. So that question we have been just created. Ask again question to the model. So instead of Q1, you can just only pause the Q2, so that you can just execute. It is again showing that employee will be come to the office by the public transport. But you can just look into the over there whose employee age is going to be a, we are just calling as a 60. That means here, and whose salary is going to be 1 lakh, we can say 50,000. That means at the top, but it will be showing it will be come to the office by car, but our model will be giving the wrong prediction for the both the questions. That means we have to check what exactly happens in our model. So we have to just do the pre-processing. That means we have to just do the scaling. There is going to be one problem. That problem we are just calling as a gradient descent. Everybody is aware whenever you are just using gradient descent. That means you can just look in our data. Some employee whose salary is going to be 25,000, and some employees who are going to be over there whose salary is 150,000. Some employees is 29,000, and some employee are just getting the 1,30,000, 1,40,000. That means there is going to be a lot much difference between that salary. So it will be a, there is going to be a problem of that gradient descent, and that one of the way to handle that gradient descent, so we have to just do the scaling of that data. वो डेटा को हमें क्या करना है, स्केलिंग करना है. तो स्केलिंग करने के लिए from we are just using the from is the keyword, scaling is going to be library name, and scaling is going to be a pre-processing step. So pre-processing is one of the module present in your sklearn library, and we are just importing one class, and name of that class is going to be a min max scalar. So after the scaling, each and every value from your data frame which will be a lies in between 0 to 1. Either it may be a crore, either it may be a lakh, each and every will be a value will be lies in between 0 to 1. So that class we have been just imported. So as I said, whenever we are just importing any class, you can just make it as a object of that class. So we are just doing the scaling of the data. That's why I'm just giving the name of that object is going to be a scalar. Object name equal to class name. Class name is going to be a min max scalar. After that, we have to just do the scalar dot fit. That means whatever, whenever we are just doing the scaling of that data, only you have to just do the scaling of the x matlab input variable. Which are the these two is input variable? Age and estimated salary. कभी भी हम scaling करेंगे तो we have to just do only with the x input variable का करेंगे. ये पहले दो कॉलम का हम क्या करेंगे? Scaling करेंगे. We are just doing the scaling of the x and y. So sorry, only we have to just do x, and in that x we do have a two columns. Scalar dot fit, you can just execute the same. Behind this fit function, it will be identify minimum and maximum value from the column. So fit x, what that scalar dot fit function will be does, it will be a find the minimum value of that age column. It will be a finds the maximum value of that age column, as well as it will be finds the minimum value of that estimated salary column and maximum value of that estimated salary column. After that, we have to just do the scalar. We have to just do the object scalar dot transform. तो transform scaling का formula है. You just go with this formula of the scaling. You can just look. Scaling का formula है scale x is equal to x minus x mean divided by x max minus x mean. So if I want to just do the scaling of the age column, so fit function, what exactly it will be does, it will be finds the minimum value of that age column. So you can just observe minimum value of that age column is the 27, that is x mean. Maximum value of that column is going to be, we can say 48, that is the x max. Put this value into this. X means पहला value, that is 41. तो पहले हम 40 का स्केलिंग करेंगे, then 27, then 30, 38, 40, x means 44. That is, we have to just do the scaling. After the scaling, each and every value from your column, it will be lies in between 0 to 1. So behind this transform function, this is going to be a formula, that is x minus x mean divided by x max minus x mean. That formula is going to be behind this transform function, and we have to just pass the value, that is nothing but the, to transform we have to just scalar dot transform, we have to just pass the x, and after the x, whatever the result we are just getting, so that we are just catching in the x scale. So we are just calling the new object, that is we are just calling scaled value of the x. So you can just execute the same. After this execution, you are just getting that scaling has been done. So how many data points x scale has been done? That is 300 data points we have just done. So how many this did? Each and every value, this is the numpy array object. So in that numpy array object, there will be a 300 scaling data point that has been done. Each and every value is in between, lies in between 0 to 1. So x means input variable, and we are just every time we are just doing the scaling of your input variable. Execute the same. So it is going to be a x scale. So instead of that x scale, it is going to be done the scaling of each and every value of your x. So 400 data points scaling we have been just done. After the scaling, we have to check scaling has been done. So again we have to just build the model, and we have to just pass. So we have to just do the training of that model. Model is equal to, we are just using the logistic regression. Logistic regression model building importing has been done. So you can just do the training of that model again on the basis of the scale data. So you can just write model dot fit, and you can just pass, instead of x right now you can just pass the x scale data. So x scale we do along with that x, right now we have a x scale also, and you can just pass the y. So y is nothing but your output variable. That scaling we have been just not done because already it is in a scaled value. So you can just execute the same. Again model training has been done, and again after the training we can just ask the question to the model again. So whatever the query point 1 and 2 that we have been just created, that is our first query point. So again, you can just ask the question to the model. So how we are just asking the question to the model? Model dot predict, and in that predict function, what exactly we are just doing, you can just pass the query point q1 and execute the same. And right now it is showing like the employee whose age is going to be 52 and whose salary is going to be 1,20,000, who employee is given the those the new employee q1 will be come to the office by the car class. That means right now it is giving the correct prediction, but this is the output. It will be showing like numpy array. In that numpy array there is going to be only one value, and by default we are just calling as a indexing will be starts from the zero. At the zero in numpy array के अंदर एक ही value है, so you can just execute it. So you can just see the new employee who will be come to the office, whose age is going to be 52 years and salary is the 1,20,000. He or she will be come to the office by the car. What is our second question? Our second question is there nothing but the second employee will be new, who will be coming to the office, whose age is 60 years and salary is 1,50,000, and we have to predict he or she will be come to the office by the public transport or car. Instead of q1 you can just pass the q2 and predict. So it will be a model will be gives the answer. The second employee will be also come to the office by their own car. So in this way we are just implementing our problem statement. So again there will be a step are there, so you can just check the training accuracy as well as the testing accuracy of that model. So you can just write model dot score function is there. That means how much our model has been accurate, that we have to just check. So in the model dot score, that means it will be gives the accuracy. So we are just passing x train as well as you can just x train as well as the we are just calling as a y train, using the train the model by using these two objects x train and y train. So you can just see it is going to be a 35% accuracy. That means जो हमने स्केलिंग यहाँ पे किया था, तो ये देखो आपने एक स्केल, तो जहां पे आपने एक स्केल किया है तो इट इज ये आपको यहाँ पे जो यहाँ पे हमने मॉडल डॉट एक्स किया है, तो एक्स ट्रेन एंड वाई ट्रेन इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट ये देखो हमारे एक्स में इनपुट वेरिएबल है एज एंड एस्टिमेटेड सैलरी, वाई में है आपका purchase, and you can just execute the same, and again it is showing the 35%. That means whenever you are just doing the scaling of the x, you have to just do the scaling of your y also. X scale as well as y scale also we have to just do over there. So you can just write over there x scale trans ये देखो x trains instead similar way you can just do the scaling of your x train and y train. So I can just insert one cell below and we have to just do the scaling of your x train and y train also. So if you just do the scaling, then also you will get the same result over there. So you can just get the training accuracy, but you can just keep in your mind after the splitting of that data you will get the 4 object. So which are these 4 object? X train, x test, y train and y trace. So the x train and y train you can just pass for the training of that model, x test and y test that you can just pass the testing of that model. So in that way you can just create and implement your problem statement. So in this way we are just doing. So that is from my end. You have any query questions that you can just ask me. Hello everybody. Hello sir. Hello Vinod sir. Vinod sir.
एक मिनट. हेलो सर.
Yes sir. Yes.
हाँ हाँ. नाइस सर.
Yes sir. Done from my side sir.
मैडम you the thank.
Sincerely thanks to our Professor Navneet for sharing such valuable insights during today's FDP session. My heartfelt thanks to our principal sir, their constant support, and to all participants for your active engagement and time. Thank you everyone for making this online session a great success. Thanks to everyone.
Uh, all the participants uh, fill that form. So your attendance should be recorded. The certificate will be sent on your email ID. Thank you. Thank you all of you.
Vinod sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.